Welcome to Rebecca Sounds Reveille, brought to you by the Liberty Beacon and the TLBTV.com broadcasting network. I am Rebecca Mahan, and I am the host of Rebecca Sounds Reveille, bringing you today some information that I think is of extreme importance to you. This is going to be the first in what is being called the 7 series, and I will be bringing out to you 7 key ingredients for enrichment of your life, either for protection of your home, your heart, your mind, your health, or just information that helps you move forward into a really good direction. Today, I really was not wanting this to be the first of the 7 series. However, it is of utmost importance because there were 2 deaths and 2 injuries basically over the last week-ish in the month of March in the city of Austin, Texas. And what has happened is that there were packages delivered to 3 different doorsteps, and those packages ended up exploding, causing the 2 deaths and 2 injuries. And this is really a very interesting issue because they are saying that the packages are connected. There is a theory that it could be racially motivated, but at the time of this broadcast, it's still being investigated. So, knowing, those of you who have watched me, knowing what I'm all about, and that is protection and being safe and all of those kinds of things, I wanted to bring some points to you, some key ingredients, 7 of them, that will help you to protect yourself personally and your home and the loved ones that are in it. So with these things, this is specifically geared towards getting packages that could be harmful in nature to your house. But most importantly, if you apply these things, the techniques that I give you today and the tips, it should protect you from a number of different types of crimes. So one of the first things that you can do when we're talking about packages that are of unknown nature, we want to take some steps to ensure that we don't subject ourselves to them. And I know that many times in people's childhoods, we've grown up doing some strange things, and things have been placed on people's porches as jokes, but we're not in an era where we can do those kinds of things anymore. No jokes, folks. And with the terrorism that was caused by the Unabomber, and many of us thought those kinds of things were over, or really it's not. There is a lot of things that are going on a lot of times that we don't hear about, but in circumstances like this, it makes national news, and we definitely want to not only take the time to address it because it's happening and the situation has not been resolved, the person hasn't been caught or persons, and for future situations. So let's get started with the 7 series today on how to protect yourself from exploding packages and to protect yourself from other harmful types of events around your person and your home. So the first and foremost thing to do is to make sure you know whether or not packages are coming and who they're coming from. And one of the biggest ways that you can do this is to get yourself registered and create an account with the United States Postal Service, the United Parcel Service, as well as Federal Express. And this is also known as USPS, UPS, and FedEx. In relation to this, to find out the information directly on where to go to create accounts and get yourself set up so that you know when packages and mail is coming to you, there is an article that is attached to this particular episode with the information that you'll need to do that along with telephone numbers. So when you go to these sites, specifically USPS, you can create an account that gives you a dashboard. And what's really cool about this is the United States Postal Service has it set up so that they will send you an email every single day with mail that is being sent to your address. And it is delivered to you prior to your delivery driver dropping off, your postal worker, delivering the mail to you. So you should know what mail is going to be put in your mailbox and if you have packages. And so what's really another good thing about this is size of package is important. And if you live in a community where there is keyed mailboxes, oftentimes the postal worker will leave the package at the mailbox with a key for you to go and pick it up. This is one of the best methods for you to obtain packages at home without having to go somewhere to pick it up, is having it delivered there. But due to sizes, that's going to be limited. And oftentimes, if it doesn't fit in that size of the mailbox, then the worker will leave it on your porch. And so it's going to be important for you to know whether or not you're receiving a package through the United States Postal Service. Same thing with UPS and FedEx. And with FedEx, oftentimes they actually want you to sign for a package. So with getting notifications from them, it is going to be really great because they can really narrow down the time frame that they're going to be there for a required signature. So those are a couple of things. While they may be a little bit inconvenient, taking the time to sign up for them or having to be home when a package is going to be arriving, it really is a safeguard for you. And we really want to make sure that we take all the steps to do that, to be safe. And we live in a world now where we have to take those extra measures, even though it's an inconvenience for us. But as they say, it's better safe than sorry. So that's number one on my 7 key ingredients for you to make sure that you're not receiving an exploding package. Well, nothing is safeguarding from any type. These are the best measures that I can give out to you to share to give you layers of protection for yourself. All right, so moving on with number 2. I'm kind of excited to talk to you about this because I like to talk about safety and personal protection, and any time that we can use these safeguards and they have been implemented at work, then pretty good and pretty exciting for me. Okay, number 2 is that have the packages delivered directly to the post office, to a mailbox center, such as mailboxes, etc., or an establishment in your community that offers mailboxes, and then have it delivered there. And if neither of those things are going to work for you, it would definitely be to have a signature required. Because if someone is setting random packages on doorsteps, they're not likely going to need a signature. And a signature required usually is going to have been tracked from an originator and is more than likely from some place that you have ordered or something along those lines. So those are really the 2 most important things you can do, is be getting registered with these delivery companies, and then of course having signature required. Also, if you want another layer of protection where you don't want someone to know your address, you can also have a signature required delivered to a workplace or something like that. So those are the 2 big keys there. The next thing to do would be to have a camera system on the outside of your house. Well, actually, it would be better if you had it placed in a secure location where somebody couldn't access it, but yet it is actually providing the source, the video of your perimeter of your house. And that includes the driveway, out to the street, your walkway, and definitely by the door or anywhere else that you might typically have left packages. And if someone knows that you receive packages on a regular basis and they see that the delivery company usually places them in a certain location, then you definitely want to make sure that you have some type of monitoring equipment focused on that particular area so that, of course, you would capture who has left the package. One of the neat things about this is you can review the video before you actually go out to retrieve the package, and you can see if it was delivered by a reputable company or if there was just somebody that randomly came up. And then you know, one, not to touch the package. Two, you have a description that you can give to law enforcement so that they have a suspect. So, okay, what would be the kind of hang up here on that is the cost of a security system. You can generally get regular security systems at membership warehouses such as Costco and Sam Clubs, probably in the vicinity of about $300. Not many people have $300 just to kind of grab and go get a system and then try to set it up. But there are other things that can be done, and they can be done by very small cameras, and they can be set wirelessly to your internet and to your laptop, even to your smartphone now. And if you're really concerned about the wireless type of thing, you can hardwire it to an old laptop and get an old webcam and just aim it in that direction. So that's kind of the poor man's way to do it, but it's better than not having anything at all. And even if the quality isn't that great, you would generally be able to establish within the video that you see whether there is a person wearing a uniform. And if you have it set up in a couple of different directions, say a camera on the area that someone would leave a package and then also on the street, you're going to find out if they came in a vehicle that is like a United States, it's labeled United States Postal Service, or whether it was a regular car. Now, the caveat with that is there is areas of our country that have rural service and they utilize regular personal vehicles, and they might just have a magnet that says U.S. Postal Service on it or something like that, and it may not be very visible. But do keep this in mind, and you'll want to know who your regular driver is if you live in a rural area, and also be alerted that on Sundays, there is now delivery from the United States Postal Service as well. And so these are just other things to think about. And you still want to take the safe precautions in ensuring that you are safe in retrieving your packages. Some people work from home. They receive tons and tons of packages all the time. And what makes it even better to be on an account where you can track your packages, know when they're coming, and be notified. It's even better for lots of different reasons, especially if you're in a business situation. This protects your credibility, your assets, and same thing with the other side of the coin. So lots of things there. All right, so we have 3 things that I've given you so far. Let's talk about number 4, motion sensor lighting. And why do I say this? Because if someone's going to leave a random package, now I will tell you there are people who will do things in broad daylight, but generally speaking, people don't want to be seen. Those that are committing crimes. And so when do you think they might come? Probably in the wee hours of the night, right? And so one of the things that you can do is have a very well-lit front, back, and side area of your house. This protects you in lots of ways, not just from somebody who's going to leave a random package that could be harmful to you, but from burglars and other perpetrators of other types of crimes. So lighting is extremely important around your home. And I know it can be a distraction, especially to some neighbors who have different schedules and so on and so forth. And what you can do is just try to make sure that you minimize the lighting from being broadcast all over the area where it's exposing your neighbors' houses, but really focus it on your own perimeter of your home. But one step beyond the motion lighting would be to have lighting on all the time. And for some of you, that may not be cost effective, but lighting, period, around the perimeter of your house is of utmost importance. And you will more than likely be skipped of something unless you're an intended target, which unfortunately some of the victims may very well be, especially if, like in this particular situation that happened in Austin, the theory being that it was racially motivated. And that could be a whole nother playing field. But what we're trying to do is layer levels of protection here for you. So you're definitely going to want to ensure that you have really good lighting. All right, number 5, many of you may be pet lovers and many of you may not be, but one of the best things you can do is have a dog, because a dog that knows your house and knows the sounds, anything out of the ordinary, they're going to alert you. And some people think, well, I want to have a dog so I can scare off a perpetrator. Yes, that's great. But you also want to be alerted to what's going on in your area, in your bubble. Is there someone coming onto your property that shouldn't be there? Is someone outside the house that shouldn't be there? This is really an important thing. So a dog may be a good asset for you in this level of protection. And even little ones, even little dogs, they don't have to be gigantic dogs, just dogs that will alert you, or an animal of some sort that's going to alert you. And generally speaking, a dog is going to do it. All right, number 6. Here we go. What to do if you see that there is a package on your porch that you definitely were not expecting. Well, if it doesn't look right, you need to call the police. Well, what are some signs of it not quite looking right? Well, if it's an extremely large package, if it's too small of a package, yep, maybe that just doesn't look right. There's no labeling on it, or the markings don't look correct on it. Or if there's a marking on it, such as an Amazon or a Walmart on the box, but there's no label to go with it. Or you see something leaking or a wire sticking from it, or it doesn't look like it's sealed correctly. These are all clues to something not being right. But just because a box has a label that says Amazon, Walmart, or some other major manufacturer doesn't necessarily mean it's from them. You need to be able to review all aspects of that particular package and see if it is something that is actually being sent to you. And there are often times that companies will send out things in the mail in hopes that someone will make a purchase. It's not often anymore, but it does happen. Or it gets sent to the wrong address. But you definitely want to look for these. Now, I will tell you that there are people who can take old boxes with shipping labels that are on them and package it up and make it look like it's a delivery for you. So if you decide that you are, or you happen to walk upon this particular package, don't pick it up. You can inspect it from a distance. If you can't quite see it, you can use your smartphone to take a picture of it, go in the house, take a look at it, see if it's got your name and address on it. But do some detective work here when you're inspecting this package, because this is something you want to make sure not to open in the event it's one of these exploding packages. And while this may seem like it's isolated to Austin, Texas, we know that when things hit national news, oftentimes there are copycats out there, and we definitely don't want to have anything like that happen to you. Finally, I want to talk to you about watching for persons in your neighborhood, vehicles in your neighborhood that are not familiar to you, and you write down the description of them. So we tend to get into a habit where we come and go. We take the same route every single time. We go at the same times of day. Other people know that too. You probably even know your neighbor's schedule, what time they leave in the morning, how long they sit outside, so on and so forth. But a lot of times we're oblivious to everything that is going on around us. And so there may be a car or a person that's out on the street that really shouldn't be there. And you make a great witness. So you don't need to confront them. Write down the description of them. If they don't look like they should be there, or if there's somebody that's going door to door that shouldn't be there, you can't identify, you can call law enforcement and say, hey, this particular person, here's what they look like. Come check it out. Here's a vehicle. One of the most important things you can do when it comes to a vehicle description is not only get the color of the car, how many doors it has, what type of car it is, but if you can get the license plate, this really is helpful. It is very, very helpful to law enforcement. So, all right, now combining all of these things together, this is the bonus, and that is create a neighborhood watch program if you do not have a neighborhood watch in your particular area. And yes, there's going to have to be a few volunteers that are willing to kind of check the neighborhood out and so on and so forth. But we all know that not everywhere is there gated communities with private security, or that the homeowners in one particular area ever even get together, decide to pull together to have a security come every so often. And even then, there's in between times. So if you can create a neighborhood watch in your area, that's just another layer of protection for yourself, your home, and your neighborhood. So I hope these tips have been helpful to you. I want you to know, just like the Chief of Police of Austin has said, it is not time to panic, but you do need to be vigilant. You do need to be alert. And we always need to be alert and aware of our surroundings. This is essential for so many different reasons, from burglaries or robberies to rape to other types of victimization. We just need to be alert and prepared. And by taking the time to create levels of protection, to always be looking up when we're out and about, keeping our head up, keeping our eyes open, being ready to remember a description of something that we see that's out of the ordinary and not dismiss it. Write it down somewhere. It may not be of immediate use, but maybe in a couple days or a couple weeks, it will be really pertinent to something that has gone on. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. I ask you to share this with your friends, your family, your colleagues, everyone that you know. I want you to be careful out there. I want you to stay protected.